or you don't want to be on I-35.
Growth, gridlock.
Oh, it's always bad around Austin, especially this time of day.
More people, more cars on the road.
A growing problem.
But what's the fix?
I know no matter what I do, I'm still going to hit the traffic.
Tonight, we start the conversation.
Live from the campus of Huston-Tillotson University, you're watching a KXAN News special presentation, ATXpansion.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for this KXAN News special and ATXpansion special town hall presentation. I'm Robert Hadlock.
And I'm Leslie Rohde. So glad you're with us tonight. We are live here at the King Seabrook Chapel on the campus of Huston-Tillotson University in East Austin. We're here to talk about a topic that affects everybody: traffic, congestion, the population boom that we're experiencing here in Central Texas. We know it's going to continue, so we want to know how to deal with it. Now, we know some of the audience members, probably you all, had to sit in some traffic today, right? You did. And you at home probably maybe had some traffic to deal with on your way home tonight. So we thought, why not put together some experts in the field to talk about these issues all together and find out what's being done to alleviate the problem of traffic congestion in our area, not just now, but in the very near future.
More of the decision makers are here on our front row this evening. They include our ATXpansion partners. Heather McKissick is CEO of Leadership Austin, and John Garrett is publisher of Community Impact newspaper. As you can see, they have laptops right in front of them, and they'll be interacting with you and our main panelist in a live chat hosted on the ATXpansion page at KXAN.com. Just go to our homepage and you can join in the conversation.
Let's go ahead and meet our panel on stage now. We begin with John Barton, who is the interim executive director of TxDOT, now also oversees state transportation planning in his job and managing the current state projects. Thanks for being here.
Mike Heilienstein is executive director of the Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority that facilitates toll road development projects here in Central Texas. He also advocates for cyclist and pedestrian options.
John Langmore, the Capital Metro Board member here with us, a transportation and land use consultant, also supporting urban rail projects.
Williamson County Commissioner Cynthia Long is with us here tonight. She is a vice chair of Campo and helps allocate regional transportation funding.
And Mike Martinez as well, of course, an Austin City Council member, Capital Metro Board chair, and also supporting urban rail projects.
Tonight we really want to focus in on solutions, but even a conversation about that, we first need to identify some of the biggest transportation issues facing Central Texas right now.
And one way to do that is to kind of look geographically at the issue. TxDOT has been out with a study recently saying that 10 of the most congested areas in the entire state of Texas are right here in Central Texas, and you can probably guess what some of them are. We're talking Highway 290, Mopac, 360, 183, but one roadway tops the list. All together now. I-35, right.
So it's obvious we're going to ask our panelists tonight what's being done right now to address the transportation issues, specifically on I-35, and a good person to start with that is John Barton from TxDOT.
Thank you. I think that the most important activity that the department is a partner with on I-35 and improvements that might make a difference is with the City of Austin. The City of Austin has recently funded a consultant study to look at what type of operational improvements can be made to Interstate 35 and how we might be able to address some of those recurring congestion issues that occur on a daily basis. Along with that, we have funded several projects that, once they're completed, will provide better movements on alternative routes. And one of those, quite frankly, is State Highway 71 at the intersection of Riverside Drive. If you drive that area to the east side of our community and perhaps on your way to the airport, you know that that traffic light is often a cause of delay in that area. That project is currently bid out. SEMA, the construction company that's made the improvements to I-35 at Ben White, and is currently working to wrap those up, will also be doing that project as well. So those improvements at the intersection of Interstate 35 and 290, as well as these soon to be under construction improvements at State Highway 71 and Riverside Drive, will provide for better traffic flow on the east side there, and it would give us an alternative route to get around the downtown area of I-35, which quite frankly is where we have the congestion problem here in Austin.
Thank you, John. We want to continue talking about I-35 because we know we could talk all night about that, but we want to introduce some other panel members that you see here in the front row. These a group of experts, more experts we have with us tonight, engineers to demographics.
Our Katina McHenry is here to introduce our distinguished panel.
Thank you, Robert. Well, the first two panelists have already been introduced, but we'll talk to them again. Heather McKissick is the CEO of Leadership Austin. Next to her is John Garrett. He is a publisher of Community Impact newspaper with bureaus all over the city. Thank you for being here. Ginger Gooden is the Austin Division Head at the Texas Transportation Institute. They do a lot of research and studying the traffic issues. Carlos Lopez is a TxDOT district engineer. He oversees construction projects all over the city. If an on-ramp doesn't open on time, you can blame him. Terry Mitchell is on the Greater Austin Chamber of Commerce and chairs Take on Traffic. Next to him, a very familiar face, Linda Watson. She is the president and CEO of Capital Metro. Next to her, Rob Spiller is the City of Austin's transportation director. He has a very big job he's in charge of. And then Maureen McCoy is the director of CAMPO. It is Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization. Thank you for being here. Next to her is Ryan Robinson. He is the City of Austin's demographer, overseeing growth and also planning throughout the entire city. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Katina, since you introduced Ryan, let's go ahead and ask you to kind of help us set the stage. We're talking about population growth, and you're the numbers guy here. We know we've been growing. Tell us a little bit about the predictions in the next 5 and 10 years.
One of the issues that we come back to over and over again is the fact that the fundamental reasons why we have grown so much in the past are basically in place today. The primary growth drivers, in my opinion, is now really become our workforce, our diverse set of people who live here. The University of Texas, our physical setting, those components really have continued to help us defy the economic gravity that's out there, and we are really at the top of the economic heap currently. And I think because of these fundamental aspects of Austin, which really high quality of life, I'm convinced that we're going to continue to grow.
Thank you.
I don't think there's any question about that we are a growing community, and there are a lot of challenges before us. Katina is going to take a questioner from our audience and ask one of our panelists to respond to that. Katina.
Sure. Our first audience member is Chris Thomas. He lives in North Austin. He travels 183 McNeil area, and as you know, that area is very congested, especially at 183 north parts of Austin. So what is your question?
I just want to know what kind of ideas you guys have as kind of to relieve some of the congestion that we have. I was here to sit around to hear some of the ideas and kind of jump on a bandwagon, and I want to kind of hear what your ideas might be right now.
Who wants to take that one?
Well, I'll start. 183 partly is in my jurisdiction, and folks deal with that every day, so they feel your pain. But one of the things that I know that the CTRMA is looking at is what's called a managed lane project that would add basically another lane. It would be, guaranteed free-flowing traffic speeds, and so it would move some other folks off and allow transit to go through there as well. That would be one thing on 183, and then would ultimately connect up to another managed lane on MOPAC. Mike?
Well, what you're saying is what we've all seen I've been here working in public sector for 30 years, is the region. The region's growing. It's not just Austin, it's the entire region, and a lot of these folks work downtown. A lot of these folks are going across corridors to other parts of the region. And what we've got to do is look at solutions that don't solve just an intersection, they solve corridors. And I think we're all, in some way or fashion, looking at how we can improve corridors. And the commissioners mentioned express lanes projects. And I think that's a critical component, because if you look at Austin, there's no more room for 300-foot corridors. We're going to have to adapt to what we have on the ground now and enhance that capacity.